We're going to start actually with a song this morning that I have heard in movement circles, but was originally sung and written by the Silver Mount Zion Orchestra and the Tra La La Band. It's very simple, just 2 lines really, and I'll just ask you to repeat after me. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we was all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we was all beautiful and strong. One more time. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we was all beautiful and strong. I saw a post on social media recently that said, to be a pastor during this time is to be about the proclamation of belovedness. You're an immigrant, beloved. You're queer, beloved. You're Black, beloved. You're a woman, beloved. You're disabled, beloved. It's tempting to write an entire sermon that is just a litany for all the ways you are beloved, all the factors that make you beloved by me, by the divine, by your communities. If you're poor, you are beloved. If you've had an abortion, you are beloved. You're chronically ill, beloved. If you're trans or non-binary or otherwise gender expansive, you are beloved. If you are divorced, you are beloved. If you're on food stamps or on disability or you receive government assistance, you are beloved. If you have a job, if you're retired, if you're unemployed, or if you're recently fired or concerned you might be, you are beloved. If you're neurodiverse or have neurodiverse children, you are beloved. If you're mourning, you and your grief are beloved. If you're full of rage, your rage is sacred and you are beloved. If you're despairing or hopeless or depressed or anxious, you are beloved. If you live with trauma, with mental health conditions, if you are in therapy, if you take medication, or if you do not, you are beloved. If you're living with shame or regret, you are beloved. You who are single, married, widowed, you with children and without, you who share a home with extended family, and you who live alone, you are beloved. Beloved, 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 you are beloved. Yes, being a pastor during this time means that I am going to proclaim our belovedness. But beloveds, that is not my work alone. That is the work of all of us. How might you proclaim others' belovedness? How might you proclaim your own deep and profound belovedness? When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we was all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can't no one be well, but I dreamt we was all beautiful and strong. Dan Savage, author and LGBTQ advocate, wrote, "We live in hard times. But it'll be worse if we let the news cycle drain the joy from our lives. We need to pay attention, and we need to stay in the fight because, of course, we do. But we should spend as much time as we possibly can with friends and lovers doing things that bring us joy. Anyone that tells you that making time for joy, however you define it, is a distraction or a betrayal has no idea what they're talking about. During the darkest days of the AIDS crisis, we buried our friends in the morning. We protested in the afternoon, and we danced all night. The dance kept us in the fight because it was the dance we were fighting for. It didn't look like we were going to win then, and we did. It doesn't feel like we are going to win now, but we could. Keep fighting. Keep dancing. I keep trying to find an answer to what I should be doing in this time. However, the most I can find is information about just how dire everything is. As grateful as I am for journalism and journalists, this also leaves me overwhelmed and with what feels like few options. I can doom scroll and sink into despair, or I can stick my head in the sand and move about my day as though we are living in normal times. I keep trying to remind myself that there is wisdom in this. Our bodies are wise and tell us when to disengage or dissociate. Our bodies and minds are wise and aren't meant to hold the chaos, the cruelty, and so they are coping in the only ways they know how. Because that's part of the point. If we are overwhelmed, we are incapacitated. If we are disengaged or dissociated, we can't fight back. The overwhelm prevents us from not only working towards a better world, but for even remembering that a better world exists. This overwhelm is not by accident, it is by design. So where can we turn instead? Author Walida Imarisha writes that she uses speculative visionary fiction as a way to build a future where the fantastic liberates the mundane. She states, whenever we try to envision a world without war, without violence, without prisons, without capitalism, we are engaging in speculative fiction. All organizing is science fiction. Organizers and activists dedicate their lives to creating and envisioning another world. Imarisha continues, once the imagination is unshackled, liberation is limitless. Imarisha's words remind us that the work of radical imagination isn't just about dreaming, but that it's about liberating ourselves to live differently. So what does that look like? What does my unshackled imagination tell me? What does your unshackled imagination tell you? I don't know about you, but I can imagine a world without genocide. I can imagine a world where no child starves, not in Gaza, not in Sudan, not anywhere. I can imagine a world where bodily autonomy is sacred and reproductive freedom is a given. A world where people of every gender can live and thrive. A world with equitable wealth where no one has too little and no one has too much. A world where we cherish our earth as kin. And these are not just idle daydreams. They are sacred callings. I can imagine this world not because I'm an artist or a poet or a visionary. I'm not. I can imagine this world because I am a Unitarian Universalist. And my faith doesn't just allow me to imagine this world. It insists that I must. Now, I want to be clear, imagination is not the same thing as magical thinking. My personal theology does not align with ideas of manifestation or the power of positive thinking or the sort of New Age spirituality that says if you change your mindset, then your life will change. It's okay if yours does. It just doesn't personally work for me. So I'm not saying that we can positivity our way into a better world, that if we just think good thoughts, then our world will transform. I'm not saying that if we can imagine it, then we can make it happen. But I am saying that too often we live our lives in opposition to what we don't want, rather than building what we do. We live our lives in our minds, attempting to think our way into a new world, rather than loving and being our way into new ways of being. So that is our work, attending to our belovedness, attending to the belovedness of others, and attending to where we give our energy so we can build the world of our imagination. Activist Kelly Hayes calls this a rebellious culture of care. And that begins with focus, with intention, with relationships, and with dancing. What is our work? Our work is to fight for freedom, to fight for joy. Our work is to fight for radical imagination and the audacity to dream that another world is possible. Our work is to fight for the ability of our beloved bodies to be their full, unburdened selves. We are fighting for you. We are fighting for me, for all of us. And if we don't remember what freedom feels like, then they have already won. When the world is sick, can't no one be well? But I dreamt we was all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can't no one be well? But I dreamt we was all beautiful and strong.